Early voting kicks off tomorrow in Nevada, and Bernie Sanders is hitting the state with a sizable lead. The Vermont senator has 25% of support from Nevada's likely Democratic caucus goers. NBC's Garrett Haake is in Nevada. Garrett, Nevada's doing things a little differently after the Iowa chaos. What will their process look like?
The Iowa vote is happening in two parts. First, they've got a couple days of early voting that acts almost like traditional voting, except people who come in starting on Saturday will vote for several preferences. That early vote gets then handed over at the caucus sites where most Nevadans will vote the following Saturday, and those numbers get incorporated into a caucus process like what we saw in Iowa. Now, unlike what we saw in Iowa, the use of a digital tool or an app will only be to record the preferences of the folks at the caucus sites. That'll then be called in. Nevada Democrats are keeping their fingers crossed and their breath held that this system will work better than what Iowa came up with. But I'm talking to a lot of nervous Democrats here and on the campaigns that this won't descend into another debacle like we saw in Iowa.
And 5 candidates are confirmed for the next debate. But one looming question is whether Mike Bloomberg will finally join the stage. What does he need to do to make the cut?
Well, he needs one more poll above 10%. That'll be the trick to get him in there, a national poll. He could get it. You know, a lot of the networks, and I don't know, I've got no insider NBC knowledge here, but the networks tend to release their polls on Sundays to go along with their Sunday shows. He could get that last 10% poll there. We're seeing him plug above 10% in a lot of these state polls, so it's not impossible. And I got to say, a lot of the other Democrats want to see him on the stage. They feel like Bloomberg's gotten something of a free ride up until this week. He's blanketing the airwaves in all these states. Campaigns don't have the money to match him. You've started to see some of this opposition research drop against Bloomberg this week, but I talked to Amy Klobuchar earlier today. She said, look, I can't compete with Mayor Bloomberg on the air, but I could beat him on a debate stage. Let's get him out there. Let's give Democratic voters a chance to vet him. And oh, by the way, these candidates a chance to throw some punches on their own.
Okay, so other Democratic candidates want to see him on the stage. Does he want to be on the stage?
That's $1 million question. His campaign says, of course he does. But, you know, there's a lot of people who speculate that that's not really something he wants to do, that he's not been a particularly strong debater during his time as mayor of New York City. And he likes being able to just conduct this air war from a distance. But the reality is, some point between here and the nomination fight, he's probably going to have to appear on a debate stage. And he's certainly going to have to if he becomes the nominee. So it's probably in his long-term best interest to get on the debate stage and start knocking some of that rust off. But I don't think anybody knows exactly how he's going to perform. It'll have been, since his last mayoral campaign that he's debated anybody. And as we've seen in the past, not doing this for a while can leave you flat-footed. Ask Barack Obama, who got his butt kicked by Mitt Romney in that first debate in 2012. I mean, it matters to have practice doing this. So a primary debate's probably a better place to learn than a general election debate, should he be so fortunate.
Garrett Haake reporting from Nevada. Thanks so much, Garrett.
You bet.